Now, a message from the UN.
My drug ban versus your drug ban. The comments are so crazy. Don't take Frasco seriously. You acting like a little baby, talking about death threats. Death threats. Death threats. Death threats. Over Mayor McCheese. McCheese. You all need to calm the fuck down. It's just a little comedy. You ain't quick enough for Andy's comebacks. Ketamine makes you tired. Better get some rest before my boy lights you on fire. Talking about death threats. Death threats. Death threats. Death threats. Over Mayor McCheese. McCheese. You all need to calm the fuck down. It's just a little comedy. We're talking about death threats. Death threats. Death threats. Death threats. Internet chill, please. Chill, please. You all need to calm the fuck down. It's just a little comedy. We're talking about death threats. Death threats. Death threats. Death threats. Over Mayor McCheese. McCheese. You all need to calm the fuck down. It's just a little comedy. You all need to calm the fuck down. It's just a little comedy.
We got to be on our A game. The bosses are here.
They're literally staring at
They're
us
literally
right now.
staring at us right now.
You can feel them unendorsing the
And
check.
we're live. Yeah, they're going to like say that check for the volume.com check is probably not going to go through today once they see what our actual dumbasses
Have you
are
seen the
up
Back to the Future movies where the people fade out of the photograph when they don't exist anymore? That's what happens on the front of the check.
That's what that,
All the words fade out slowly as you keep
World-saving
talking.
podcast. Andy Frasco's World Saving Podcast. I'm Andy Frasco. How's our heads? How's our minds? How are you doing, Nick?
I'm doing great, I think.
I think I'm just tired. But I don't feel like I'm depressed.
You've been worse.
Yeah, I'm just tired. Shit's fucking popping off. Like, we're just announced
Yeah, you're famous.
JJ Gray. We're going to be opening for JJ Gray solo.
He's also on the pod today, right?
He's on the podcast today. We're talking about the tour. But we announced last week I will be opening for JJ Gray. Me and Shawn will be doing a duo acoustic version of the bar mitzvah party that we throw.
Like Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton. Are you guys going to do Islands on the Stream?
Yeah.
You
should
should
do
be.
Islands of Stream. He's going to be Dolly.
I figured you'd be Dolly, actually.
I would love to be Dolly.
Yeah, you're Dolly, dude. Shawn is not Dolly. He's definitely Kenny Rogers, if you're Kenny Rogers.
You got to know where to fold them.
Yeah,
you know that
dude.
song? Know where to hold them.
Yeah, I know The Gambler. One of the most popular songs ever. I'm from Indiana, dude.
It's going to be fun. In January, guys, we're playing like 1,500,
Where?
2,000 cap. We're playing Moody Theater,
Where's that?
ACL, Austin. We're doing a bunch of theaters.
California?
We're playing San Diego, Los Angeles, Bellwether, and
Whale's
LA.
vagina.
Playing big rooms in my hometown, so I get to brag to my sisters. Yeah, we're playing the
Oh, yeah.
fucking amphitheater.
Like, I can't make it.
They're like, I can't go.
And Mom likes me more than you. Actually, she doesn't, though. You're special.
And then we're doing, I'm the special boy. I think Oklahoma City. We're doing Tahoe. We're doing, what's the first three?
Just look at it. Look at it.
Just look at it. Head to andyfrasco.com/tour to grab tickets. And we're trying
Just
to
play
get,
a little JJ. Oh, no, sorry.
maybe we'll try to get volume to stream the tour. We should do that. JJ Gray Theaters.
Seems like what they would want. They do, exactly.
Volume.com is in the house. It's their corporate meeting. This
We're
is where
scared.
it's like, I always think when the boys come into town, it's like that scene in Office Space with the TPS reports. It's just like, hello, Andy and Nick. Why don't you come to this room?
I'm like, yeah, here you go. I did it all, actually. I set up the studio.
No, they're the best. They give us the best leeway. We're gonna get
Oysters.
They gave us. They got hooked us up with oysters. I got a lobster
I'm a
roll.
little tired from that lunch.
I'm a little tired too. We should.
gonna go
the
veg out.
bosses are here. We should have them on the show to talk about it.
Are we going to talk shit about Oasis coming back, too?
I'm gonna talk shit about the haircuts. Like, what's the deal? Like, let's keep that in the 90s.
Them? Oh, yeah.
The
they're just
haircuts.
total cash
They look like
grab.
cone heads.
Total cash grab. They don't even like each other.
Yeah.
I think they got popular again because of that Hulk Hogan meme, too. Remember that? Here's
Yeah.
Wonderwall, brother.
Here's Wonderwall. Yeah.
We should always do it with me sitting this
Where's
far from you.
crying?
Anyway, brother, here's Wonderwall.
Speaking of hair and facial hair, we have one of the best facial hair mans in the business. He's got a Fu Manchu today. Ben Holst, how you doing? Ben Holst. Wow. Oh, business card. Benjamin. Wow.
What's this made up title?
Thanks for having me on our show.
What's this
You
title?
got 7 words in your title?
Holy shit.
Yeah,
It's probably the second title I had. I
Ladies
think
and
I'm
gentlemen,
on
Volume.com's
my fourth title.
Director of Creative Media and Brand Development,
Wow.
Ben Holst.
Thank you.
He used to be my boss until they put you into on another elevator. He's a director now. He's like, we're done with Frasco.
Creative Media.
Yeah, I'm not a junior manager anymore, so I don't really have to. I don't have to be on these emails.
Middle management.
Yeah, we have a couple other people that are.
Ben, it's been 2 years since we've been working together. I used to love. It's been 2 years.
Jeez.
It's actually been a year and 8 months.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Thanks for counting.
Well, I love it. I'm happy. I feel like I'm adopted, like Annie. You guys are like Daddy Warbucks, and I'm little orphan Annie. Thank you, Master. Thank you so much.
I'm that creepy butler.
Thank you. Thank you for the lobster, Master.
Am I chef or something? How does that? Where do I fall into this? I don't know.
You're adopted too, Ben. You're a musician. We know. We know who you are.
It's not an episode of My Two Dads or something. How does that work?
Party dad. It's like Greg's like, we'll bring Party Dad over here to check it out first before I come out here. See how big of a shit show this fucking thing is.
I need you to go over to Frasco's 24 hours before I show up. I need you to check the perimeters. I need to check all the
like
corners.
D-Day.
It's like D-Day. Yeah.
Yeah.
How's it going? Are you happy with everything?
It's good. I'm acclimated to Colorado.
Do you get itchy? Because you're from Atlanta and it's dry weather.
Oh, I was like, what?
I get ashy.
Ashy.
We call it ashy.
Oh, yeah. That's,
I don't really get itchy. That's something other people deal with.
Yeah.
I got
He's a
jock itch once.
He's a
It
one-woman
was the
man.
worst, dude.
Yeah.
My dick
Dave Grohl gets
scabbed up. My dick scabbed up on jock itch, and I got boners because I was 19. I was getting boners a lot, and they would break.
Oh,
And I would just have
that
a hard-
elastic skin.
So-
Do you hear that? It makes that
Dude,
noise.
I hear it because it kind of feels good when the scab first pops off, but then it is so painful.
About that raise. I'm just kidding.
Nick's about to ask
Yeah.
for his own fucking show while the bosses are here.
God, Nick's so calm.
Send in the prudest guy in the whole company, and let's talk about the elasticity of Frasco's. You know what?
So you've been to our concert.
Yes.
You've seen our streaming numbers getting bigger. They are getting bigger.
Yes.
You guys are building me online, which is awesome. I needed it because I haven't had a platform for my music to really grow on. And now I have a platform, volume.com. Podcasts, we already know. Everyone knows.
Yeah, huge
This
numbers.
is it. Huge numbers. Are you worried about our job safety? There's a lot of big bands you're getting. I see a lot of big bands coming in. I need you to know what your opinion is because
Go ahead, sorry.
no.
That's a twofold question. I'm worried about your health, which affects your job safety.
See, I'm more worried about money. You're worried about my health. Like
Yeah.
you're like you might be actually not part of that. You might be just mom.
I've been on the bus. I've been on the bus and in the band.
We are burning it at both ends.
Yeah.
We need to calm it down. That's why you're here to help me.
I'm here to gather information.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
That
That sounds bad. I don't like that
I
either.
don't like that.
He's starting to get two foreheads when you say
I don't
that.
like
He gets the line.
I'm here to
It's
gather
not-
information.
We call it
Yeah.
data, but
I
I
don't
call
like
it
that.
That's
information.
when Andy gets
I
two
don't like
foreheads.
that. I don't like that.
When you're like at the line, you get two foreheads. That's when you're like anxious.
That's
Yeah.
like, dude,
There's
this is why
job
I get
security and
wrinkles.
there's
Yeah,
job
yeah.
safety. Those are two different things.
Okay, so what are you gathering information? How can you make our life easier so I don't have to stress out about this?
Our role is to ensure
It's
the
the easiest gig on the planet.
longevity.
What are you laughing about?
You don't need to stress out about this. We're talking. Just two friends.
I've never had a boss. These are my bosses. And
That's
because
true.
what's weird too is you're
That's
my
true.
friends. We
Yeah.
actually hang out.
It's a hard thing to navigate.
What?
Yeah, they're not friends.
They just said, no, we're not friends. We're just your bosses.
Relax.
On paper, we're your friends, but in real life, we're just your
God
bosses.
Relax.
damn it, God damn it.
I am their friend.
So, if you would give us a report card, what do you think it would be?
I want to. We had a private discussion yesterday that I'm going to make public real quick.
Uh-oh.
That's all right, since we're outing all of
Hold
ourselves.
on, let me put the drum roll.
This is
this
private,
is where it happens.
This is from the Director of Creative Media and Brand Development at Volume, Ben Holst,
This is-
guys.
Thank you.
Put that on your LinkedIn.
Yeah, Ben@volume.com for questions, comments, and concerns about the
hold on.
Frasco show.
This is it. This is when they fire us. Here we go.
And I'm practicing.
All right, you're up.
Okay, so you explained to me yesterday that live streaming your shows was something that was fairly new.
Right.
And that it's affected your performance and how you look at your performance.
Correct.
Tell me how that feels.
Feels awesome.
From a frontman perspective.
It feels awesome because it's like there's another wall now that you can connect to fans to. It's not just the people in Nashville or when you're just playing that show. You could reach people who, just want to hang out on their couch like I'd be coming to do. I love sit on my couch.
You have
He's
nice
learning.
couches.
Oh, I love sit on my couch.
I taught you. I taught you.
You did. I always talk shit. I'm like,
that's how I meditate.
Fuck. I was like, you lazy fuck.
But I do a lot of shit on my couch, actually.
But now I'm saying, I'm
You play
sorry.
shots sitting down on the couch?
I want to apologize because now I know how awesome it is.
It's my form of meditation.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, keep going, Ben.
Oh, no, but you said live streaming has affected the way you look at your performance.
Correct.
Which I think is awesome. That was a cool thing to hear about last night. Like, especially as someone who doesn't
smell my toes.
Yeah, and you don't pride yourself as a jam band guy as far as like meandering sets and changing stuff every night. So how has that affected?
Because I'm changing it up, and I'm having faith in my old songs that my fans love. That sometimes I'm afraid to play because we don't play them enough. But now I'm just getting comfortable. Like, oh yeah, people want to see me not just once a year; they want to see me 10, 20 times a year from their couch too. So if they want to do that, then maybe I could change up the set so I could have all the people on their couch have a new experience too.
I love that. Thank you.
I'm gonna clap it up for myself.
Yeah.
I am growing.
You're growing.
Nick is looking at me fucking like you are a fucking idiot.
I get it. You're psycho, dude. You're fucking psycho.
I'm here for growth.
You just learned that relaxing is good.
Yeah, you're right.
He's always like, you're lazy. I'm like, because I lay down for 2 hours at the end of a day. That's what you're supposed to do.
You're right.
There's too much good TV
Lean
out there
into
right
it.
now. There's just too many good TV shows out there,
I know.
I think we're proud of you, though, Andy.
Yeah?
I think we're excited to see you grow, and we're excited about a long relationship.
Hold on. So, did we just get an extension?
Don't negotiate.
Let's go! I was worried about getting fired. We have a long relationship on our hands.
Yeah, a personal relationship.
All right, guys. Enjoy. Thank you, Ben.
Yeah, thanks
I
for
love
having me.
you.
This weekend, validate Andy.
This week on Validate.
Make Andy stop worrying.
Join us in the chat for some validation.
I'm just trying not to Airbnb my house anymore. I want this to be the full studio. And we're kind of doing that.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. This is going to be, right, Greg?
No,
I just don't want to have strangers to have sex in my house anymore.
I don't think that's true, actually.
Oh my God. Did I tell you about what happened? This group of people showed up at rented my house for fish weekend.
Yeah.
There's tarps everywhere. It felt like there was it was 10 tanks in here.
I should have came over here.
It's fucking bloody snot loogies everywhere.
I'm going to come over here during fish when you're out of town and just be like, hey, you guys know Andy? I'm the other guy. Can I hang? I'll show you where the food is.
I mean, it wasn't too dirty, but it was just like gross.
We're gonna have the blacklight episode. We were talking about that the other day.
You don't want that.
We're gonna do it.
You don't want
this
that.
leopard carpet.
There's so much.
We're going on a safari, Frasco.
There's a pentagram.
We're going on this. There's a pentagram.
Cum
it's
pentagram.
just like it just said, "In cum, OJ did it."
It wouldn't be me then. Definitely wasn't me then.
It was definitely you.
No, he didn't do it. I don't.
DNA doesn't play.
All right. Ben, you're just so optimistic today. Give us in the audience a reason why they should have a great week this week before we go into the JJ Gray interview. After that, JJ Gray, people, if you don't know who JJ Gray is, he's one of the greatest. He rules. He was what a real Florida man should be.
Oh my God, he was a Florida man.
We were asking him stereotypes about Florida men.
Yeah.
Oh, Greg's a Florida man.
Yeah,
but you're not really.
Miami's not Florida like that. It's a different thing, right? Yeah.
They're not. Yeah,
two different countries.
Okay. Well, each coast.
Yeah. It's like once you get up by Jacksonville, it's a different sort of.
Yeah, you're a South Florida man.
Yeah.
For sure. You're gonna love him. So after Ben says his motivational speech, enjoy JJ Gray, and then next week we have who's on?
Me and you, I think.
Again?
I think it's Nick and Andy next week.
Well, no, that was last week.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Because we do this in the future.
That's right.
Before a podcast.
I had it backwards. I thought we switched them and we didn't. Whatever.
We are going to be doing more Andy and Nick episodes, so get ready for that.
Your favorite.
You love those ones.
All you do is complain about
Pokey Lafarge.
Oh, he was great.
I think Volume had Pokey once. I can't remember.
We had a good conversation with him.
Yeah, he
about
was
religion.
a real Jesus dude.
But it was cool how he was like
he approached the Jesus thing in a way I could understand.
Yeah, and respect.
Cool. All right. What do you got?
My inspiration is based on our corporate lunch today.
And God, here we go. I'm just kidding.
Try the oysters, everybody. Yeah. Do something that you might not always do. Try something a little different. Just like Frasco over here, he's trying live streaming. He's doing new sets. He's pushing the envelope.
Try the oysters.
Order the oysters.
You're right.
Yeah. This guy is your oyster.
People, you too can get an extension and a podcast if you just try the oysters.
Just try the oysters. You never know what'll happen.
You never know.
You could find a pearl.
I love it, boys. I can't wait to hang with you all week. It's going to be fun as fuck. All right, Nick.
Thanks, Frasco.
I can't wait to talk to you, brother.
We did it.
This
is fun. This is the funnest shit, actually.
Actually, it was fun. See, I like having 4 people.
I like watching you grovel.
The bosses scare me.
Yeah. He's pushed back into that chair.
I'm deep in there. I'm like, so what do you really think? they're thinking of some extravagant studio. It's just my hallway of my fucking house.
It works.
All right,
One of us is impressed.
One of us is, oh God, I got to go before I get fired. Bye, guys. Goodbye.
Wow. A real live Florida man is in the building tonight.
Headline maker.
Headline maker. JJ, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Where you at? Looks like it's a nice place.
I'm at home.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm at home.
How long you lived there?
Back. In this spot since 2015, but yeah, obviously here my whole life, but in this place since 15.
What is Florida like? Growing up in Florida, there's a weird stereotype about Florida.
Especially the part of Florida you're from.
Yeah, but every time I go
Florida
there,
man.
but every time I go there, it's not that vibe. It's actually, it reminds me of California, to be honest.
Yeah, it's pretty chill. I somebody sent me this morning my light guy, one of the production guys, sent everybody on the chain a thing of a woman driving around with a dude locked in the dog box in the back and the police pulling her over. This Florida man locked in the dog box in the back of a truck or whatever.
He probably does.
So it's out there. But I grew up where I grew up is rural. So people would always say, you sound like you're from Georgia or Alabama, and I'm always say Florida south of all that. So
what's your interest in conserving Florida? Like, what's your fascination with it?
Well, it's just with anything, you know what I mean? For me, honestly, all that kind of stuff has, in some ways, as many questions or more questions than it does answers. I don't think there are any answers. Somebody way smarter than me said there are only trade-offs in the world, and there aren't solutions. So, at least there's not solutions that don't cause problems somewhere else downstream or have side effects.
Right.
So for me, it's just about less about frankly, like the group Live Wildly, one of the things that I liked about them is less about bitching and crying and complaining at people, especially from a position of higher moral standing and preening. If that would have worked, humanity would have fixed everything thousands of years ago. Wouldn't have taken to so.
Yeah,
to continually berate people and tell them they're not as righteous as you are, and they don't love nature as much as you do, is I don't know, a waste of oxygen. So I just wanted to hook up with these people once things got going. Their attitude was more like along the lines of and you said it, conserve rather than preserve, because preserve sort of has a presumptive idea that human beings somehow or another don't belong in it. Like,
right.
The terrarium will separate human beings from it. Like we all came here from another planet. Maybe we did. I don't know.
We'll talk about that afterwards.
Anyway,
that's another hour.
Long story short, it's just you look around and you figure, well, people have to have houses. We all need to live. Well, there's a lot of things that need to happen. Maybe if we all loved where we live, we would do a lot of that differently the way we did it. And that alone might make a monstrous change in the way in other words, you could be a contractor that builds neighborhoods, and you can go in and clear cut everything and then plant, the typical a handful of palm trees, the things that's going to appeal to people that have never lived in a tropical or subtropical environment. Or you could leave easements and right of ways for animals to move through and not tear everything down and create your own mitigation in your own mind because you feel compelled to do it, not because you're being forced to. Because frankly, I feel like humanity's and I'm no authority on this, but I don't know. It just seems like humanity's greatest gains were made because people did it for the love and out of their heart, and not because somebody forced them to or told them that they're an asshole if they don't do it. So none of that ever seemed to work.
Yeah, and it's also even deeper. It's like we don't love anything around us because we don't love ourselves.
100%.
So like,
which is it's if you can figure that one out, how to do that. To love yourself.
How long did it take you to love yourself?
Tough. It's not easy to look in a mirror.
Yeah, how long does it take until you are comfortable looking in the mirror?
I'm working on it. I'll let you know. Sorry. I'm still working on that. It's because I'm not sure what I am. So I don't know what I know, and to love it means, in the shallower sense, to me, started out really what I was saying was, do I like what I present to the world of myself, which is you can run out of runway with that real fast. So it's like, okay, so I got to get down to the deeper thing, and those are things that present themselves more than it's something that you can do. So it's just sort of like playing basketball or surfing or anything, martial arts, anything. The old saying, you got to let the game come to you. And I feel like it's the same way with trying to figure out who the deeper you is it has to happen. I guess, but to answer more directly what you're saying, at some point you have to stop taking yourself so serious.
Right.
Honor the world around you, and but don't take yourself so serious in your position. And then I don't know, that's like maybe the first little baby step towards letting it come to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to because
it'll all get filtered through something if you don't.
Totally. I mean, it's hard to even fucking when everyone's kissing your ass. Like I see a lot of cougar women at your show, JJ. I see a lot of beautiful women rolling in there. So I'm very excited to go on tour. By the way, we're going on tour with JJ Gray. I'm opening. I'm doing solo. This is my first solo performance.
He did it for free because of the crowd.
I did it for free because of the crowd. Yeah.
Sure, there's a lot of cougar women.
Some rich Southern women.
Some Florida Panthers down there.
Florida Panthers. But what I'm going for is like, we've been on stage mostly our whole life, and when everyone's kissing your ass, you kind of lose identity a hair. And especially, I don't know about you, but for me, I've always been insecure my whole life. So like, I needed that stage to kind of like, pat my back, but that didn't really do the work until I actually love myself. Everyone could compliment you, but until you look in the mirror and realize that you deserve your own self-love, all that other stuff it's hard to accept. Were you the same way? What were you like growing up as a kid? Were you picked on? Were you hot? I mean, you're hot now. I mean, you're probably hot then.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
No. I wasn't really like picked on. I mean, like everybody's been picked on, but it wasn't something that happened all the time. But we've all felt the pecking order, so to speak. And part of that is, at first it's knee jerk, and eventually you realize these things help strengthen you later on. What by today's standards are like microaggressions is the kind of like, isn't a million micros better than one giant macro later on? So, but at any rate, in other words, go to work on a construction crew and you're gonna get messed with the whole time, especially when you're the rookie, a new guy, and don't know anything about it. And those things, That's just like, it's just like chickens pecking at each other just a little bit. You know, it just takes a little bit of football team, whatever you've been on, if you've ever done it. Anyway, I get sidetracked. Back to what you were asking about. I've always treated the road as if though it's not real. So I've never really bought into like anybody. I go to Amazon and read all the negative reviews first. And
Got to get those microaggressions
bad
out of the
news.
way.
Yeah, there you go. Bad news, they say, you know, it's gone all the way around the world before good news gets its pants on. And for me, what that means is I just don't really listen to when people tell me how great I am. Because if I do that, then I'm gonna have to really pay close attention to when you don't do what they want you to do or what they think you should, or be who you should be. So the truth of the matter is, I don't really go on the internet much. I don't really look at TV much. I don't part of that is I'm just too busy doing other things, and I think I got enough time to do it all, but I don't. And because I always tell my management, Hillary and all them, okay, I'm gonna start putting the stuff on the internet, you know, on Facebook or the other one, the camera, Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah.
But is it Instagram? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Instagram. But I know it's Twitter. Sorry, and well, that too. I don't do any of it. I do like one post and then I never do nothing again for another 4 years. But the whole point it's I've just felt this. It's not even a conscious effort. It's just a thing of buzzers go off if I start digging too long into it. You know,
Right.
because it can be like so that stuff is its own version of porn.
Right.
Because it just gets darker and darker and worse and worse
It's
the more
true,
you
dude.
engage. It's just like, you know what, man, I'll just you know, that's not my thing. So, and blowing yourself up from people telling you how great you are, it's the same thing. It's just, you know, I've come to a conclusion that anything that has a quick payoff and is so wonderful, it's terrible for you. That's why, you know, donuts are so much more fun than celery. And
True.
but you know, it doesn't matter. You can apply it across the board, whether it's construction material, anything that's made or grows really quickly, it rots really quickly. Everything, it's these things that so to compliments, so to speak. I think they're necessary at first. I think that you especially when you're young and you're coming from a place of like what you're saying, insecure. And of course, I was and still am in a lot of ways. But over time, you know, yeah, I think it does. Other people's words can kind of become a little bit of a mantra, but if you dig too far into it to create an identity, you're going to be in big trouble because eventually you know, you're going to do a song, open up an album with a song like The Sea, and there's people that they only want to hear down home harmonica blaring, guitar blazing, and they don't realize that I've done all kinds of music all my life. So, and I like things to sound beautiful too. Not always, not everything doesn't have to be brawn and tough guy
Right.
stuff, man. You know, so anyway, you know, and I've been that dude too. You know, some band I love comes out, you know, Van Halen, and they play Jump with keyboards. You're like, keyboards, you know, God, what a bunch
Then it
of
rules,
so
though.
chicken shit. You know, and then now I'm like, God, it sound is killer. You know,
Yeah,
but at
it's
the
like,
time, so
that's their best
I've been the guy that cuts down the musician. I've built plenty of boxes for other people to live in my mind.
Yeah.
And I found out the only person that ever lives in them is me. I'm the only one that has to.
Yeah, why do we feel like why are we afraid to change? Why are people scared to see change, and especially in artists? I mean, we see change in our kids. Why can't we have change in our artists, our favorite artists?
Yeah, you know, to me, the thing is, it's like there's a thing about I hate to even say this word, but I'm going to say it, the ego, whatever you want to call it, the small me. That's what I'll say. At least referring to myself, it's a map builder. It wants to make everything put everything on a grid in a round universe or spherical universe or whatever, where everything's curved and moving in curves, and then we create straight lines. And that to me is because that shallow part of myself wants to anchor itself to something. And so once it does, it doesn't want to let go of that and change, because it feels tiny and afraid in an infinite sea of everything. And so the larger part of myself, which is much quieter and sits way back in the background and is, talking like Ving Rhames in Pulp Fiction, real smooth and easy.
Hey man, how you doing today? We're gonna
that's right.
Everything's all right.
No rush.
Yeah, no rush.
It ain't a no rush.
Yeah.
But your brain's like,
wah, 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 wah.
Yeah.
yeah. But your brain,
that's me. The small me doesn't want to change anything ever. And then the bigger part, some things don't need changing, but some things do. So
yeah. Because didn't you grow up poor?
Well, I wouldn't say poor. I mean, but I would say I don't know. My dad was a policeman, and so we just I would say lower middle class, because and primarily not because of how much money my dad made, but as a policeman, which isn't a ton, but more to the point, my dad grew up in root hog or die days, and then my grandparents definitely grew up in root hog or die. So,
what's that mean? I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Root hog, meaning like get out there and root like a hog in the ground to get something to eat, or die, or just lay down and die. Pick one. And so that's an old saying, root hog or die. That's an old saying here. So and so they instilled that. I'll give you an example. So when we were kids, we never went to a restaurant. I mean, that was crazy. You know what I mean? Well, I think we went to McDonald's maybe once or twice, which, back then, that nowadays definitely don't want to go too much to it. But and then we set out, we'd pull maybe 24 chickens out of the chicken house, because my grandparents grew commercially for Cargill, so they grew like 60,000 chickens a cycle. So we pull out 24 of them and raise them at scratch yard. And here, even in the 1970s, we'd raise a biddy to a fryer, which is ready to go to the fryer side, ready to put in a fryer and go to the grocery store in 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, maybe.
Wow.
And the same chickens, same biddies, set out and grew up scratch yard style in 6 months to do that.
Whoa.
But there's even back in the 70s, there's lights left on all 24/7, so the chickens don't hardly sleep, just so they'll eat and grow. And
fucking wild.
And it was a weird pay scale. You didn't really get paid by the chicken. You got paid on a feed to chicken conversion. It was a weird thing. Honestly, my grandparents only made money selling fertilizer, because the whole bed of the chicken houses were sawdust. So when I was 10, 12 years old, I'd run a 445 long front end loader, and I would pull it out and create a mountain of fertilizer. And
what the fuck?
We had different childhoods.
Sell it. What's that?
I feel soft as fuck. I'm from like LA, Calabasas. I'm like, hey, I play flag football.
It wasn't that hard. It's just a tractor. You just turn a steering wheel.
I was on the swim team.
So you grew up this way, this kind of like this blue collar working mentality. How are you about success? Like maybe that's triggers it. Like maybe you've always what's your take when you first gained? How old are you when you're first starting to see success in your music career?
It started. So I worked at the lumber yard. I was working at the lumber yard at the time, and frankly, I wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for a lot of them. They helped me every step of the way. But eventually, I'm gonna say around 2005. And that's starting. I started like pretty intently around 92. So it's around 2005 that it over what I was doing, touring, not record sales or anything like that. I never had any of that kind of stuff, but playing shows live overcame the lumberyard. So in other words, normally I would go out and play and come back, and Monday morning right, 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, I'm at the lumberyard. And and I did that for a long time, and then eventually it got to where I didn't, need to go to the lumber unless they needed help or something. But I just didn't really need to go back to work there. So that's around 2005, I guess.
Holy shit.
That's a grind.
That's a grind. So you feel like your career, you took the stairs the whole way up too.
Oh yeah. It's the things is always just slow and steady. When you're young, you sit around and you gauge what you're doing by what other people are doing, and enough years go by, enough people skyrocket past you, and then sometimes some of them sink like a ton of bricks. Most of the time, not, because most of the people I'm in contact with are the same people that you're in contact with, which are road dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And road dogs just grind it out. Whether they had smash hits back in the day, or whether they got a smash hit now. There's road dogs right now, man. That it's just in them, man. The dog is in them, and they just part of it is road dog is just it's all water off a duck's back, man. It's I enjoyed everywhere I worked. When I worked, I was a rafter rat, running around in attics, putting air conditioning, duct work in for years, and then I worked in construction for years, and then my dad didn't hire anybody when we were kids. Nothing. We re-roofed our own house, poured our own concrete driveway, everything, and much to actually at the time it didn't bother me because I just thought everybody did that, but and because most of the people I grew up around did, but but I'm a little bit older. I'm not getting out there with an axe and swinging it all day just to, I don't get me wrong. I like to work, but I'm going to go rent a skid steer.
Yeah.
My dad wouldn't do that. How much they want a skid steer rent? No, I ain't doing that. Or I go rent a mini.
That's what I had kids for.
And yeah, that's right. That's right. That's what youngins are for.
Did you ever have any like resentment for him always making you work on stuff and not do the easy way, or like later on in your life,
No.
or I think it made you
No.
were?
Especially now, I'm even more appreciative now.
Yeah. It's crazy. Where's the insecurity rooting from? Like, you had a good childhood. Like, where's this like uncomfortable with yourself rooting from, you think? Did you have trauma?
Oh, and I think you're born with that. Yeah. I think you're born with that.
Yeah.
I think every human is born with that. I think it doesn't matter who it is. Gandhi was born with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody's born with that. So
Yeah.
it's the veil between you and you.
Yeah.
So it's like you can look in the mirror your whole life, brush your teeth every morning, and you still don't know what you look like, and you know what everybody else looks like,
Right?
And you got an idea of what you look like, but you can look at yourself forever. But there's just this thin veil of something. It just doesn't come into focus, and I don't mean visually. It just won't come into full focus, and it's like there's this veil between. At least for me, there's this veil between me and me, and then I just learned to fall in love with it. And be thankful that I have the veil between me and me instead of because I don't think it's an impediment. I think it feels like an impediment in a way. When you start plumbing the depths of yourself a little bit, it feels like an impediment, but it's not really. It's in a way it softens the edges of you, but in another way it clearly defines the parameters of what you are in this game.
Having that veil though, how did you not become a drug addict?
I never really.
Yeah,
it never
that
been
wasn't a
thing
for you.
Yeah, I did. I smoked a little bit, a couple times over the years. I love the smell of it. I love the plant itself, but I drank more than my share, but not a ton. And I only drink on the road sometimes, and that was to calm my sort of silly perfectionist thing. And I think every musician feels that. Everybody else is like, man, that was great. And you're like, man, that's the worst shit I ever did in my life.
Right.
You here again, only we know these things, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And we're the only ones holding ourselves up to this bar, this line, or I wanted to do A, and instead I did B, and nobody knows except you. At any rate, the insecurity thing, I think it just, it's just it's I don't know, you know, I think a metaphysical, philosophical, deeply that's a question for the universe, you know.
Right. Have you ever had like what was like your lowest moment in your life?
Um, I never really have one. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't think of one.
That's good.
No wonder he's still so good looking, man.
Hey, he's so hot. I mean, I'm wondering when the man's been hot his whole
You don't need a
life.
veil, bro.
You don't need a veil.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think, you know,
I need the
just
veil.
never and I can't really think of the greatest one either. So, because it's all been pretty fun, man.
Yeah.
Pretty digging. And then when it sucks, it's like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You know, I heard this guy Jocko, I can never pronounce his last name right. Willink. He was SEAL trainer, former SEAL trainer. And he has this whole thing. I heard Rogan talk about it one time. It was saying good. You know, lost your place in the mission, good. You know, failed a test, a physical test, good.
Yeah.
You know, didn't get your jujitsu, good. These are all opportunities. These aren't. This is the beginning. These are all beginnings. These aren't endings. You know, so and that's kind of the way I feel about life in general.
You like the test.
It's never. You know,
You like the test.
yeah, yeah. Till I always love the idea of it till I'm in the middle of it. Then if there's a, I'm like, oh man, dude, you know, be careful what you ask for.
Yeah, you I've like.
But when it's over,
yeah.
when it's over, whoo,
Yeah, I'll clap to that.
and it goes back to that thing, like things that pay off immediately, they feel good instantly, and you always feel like afterwards. Like friends of mine that cocaine binge, you know, they are on fire, they're on top of the world, and then when they do crash and they come down, and then they feel guilty, and then so like, you know, and then you go work out and you're like, I just don't want to be in here, I just don't want to do this, I just don't. And you just get going, and you finally, when in a minute, you're about 2 minutes from, you're like, I've actually done this, I've gotten through it, and you get through it, and you're like, you feel like $1 million, and you just have energy for a pretty good while. So that's I don't know what that's got to do with where insecurity comes from, but
balance. This idea of balance.
I guess what I'm getting at is that you need the calamity. And I don't necessarily mean, well, calamity is a pretty harsh word. That's almost sounding more like catastrophic. But well, and those are going to come too. But like we were just said a minute ago, I'd rather have a bunch of micros than one giant macro. And the truth of the matter is, if you're protected and try to protect yourself from all the micros, anything becomes a macro later on. Anything, any little disturbance, and it's like, oh, it's the end of the universe. You know, like, why? Yeah, and you're like, somebody will tell you why, and you're like, what the hell are you on? What are you talking about? You know,
right?
So,
were you ever on antidepressants or anything, or had therapy?
Oh no.
I'm curious about like how people stay balanced through the ups and downs. Is that maybe why you're obsessed with martial arts or surfing? Like kind of this idea of staying in the middle.
No, because if I was obsessed, then I would just be replacing that. See, so I have no problem with other people that, because, you know, whether somebody's smoking crack, everything they're doing is in search of themselves, or whether they're a health nut, it's in search of themselves. So for me, the thing is that the way that I could avoid too much self-medication is because I know that I'm full of shit and that I have no idea what I'm talking about, and that I'm wrong more than
Sounds
I'm
like
right,
you do though,
and
kind of.
And I can live with that.
Yeah,
I can live with it.
God, JJ, fucking great, dude.
I disagree. Sounds like he knows exactly what he's talking about. Yeah. He doesn't need therapy. He should be a therapist.
Yeah. Well, he is. He's a songwriter.
That's true.
Like, how many of your songs are kind of about this theme?
I think all of them, even when I didn't know it, they wrote themselves. And I go back, and I was just listening recently. I thought about going back. I found some old demos of some stuff that I did back in the late 80s and early 90s, which would sound more like Pearl Jam or something,
Yeah.
or somewhere between Pearl Jam and like early the Cult, some back in that. It's guitar centric, heavy stuff. Anyway, I was saying I was writing lyrics. Lyrics were writing themselves, I should say. Back then I really went stream of consciousness. I would just write I keep saying, when I say I write, it makes it sound like I made it up. I didn't make it up. It made itself up. And I still do it that way. And I listen to those words now and they're like, oh my God, they're like infinitely deeper than I thought they were. And I don't mean deeper as in I'm a super deep person. Y'all check me out. I don't mean like that. I mean like at the time, what I thought they meant is shallow compared to what I think those words mean to me now, so to speak. But
Right.
I think you could do that with anything. You could probably read a coloring book 20 years later, or a highlight book that you saw at in a doctor's office when you're waiting to see the doctor or the dentist or whatever. You read a little highlight book, Goofus and Gallant. They used to have that little thing, Gallant. And suddenly it's so deep. Oh my God! Especially if you smoke enough weed, it'd be like the deepest thing you ever read in your life. But
I think it's
what's that? Go ahead.
Oh, continue what you're saying, and I'll let you know.
Yeah, I think that that's the way I stayed away from the self-medication type thing, was that I didn't make a great effort to. I just, here again, I knew that I didn't have to believe what my mind said.
Yeah.
And that 99% of the time it was wrong and it was full of shit. Whether it was judging other people, you go to the mall, or you're in a crowded mall or crowded area and you see a friend of yours across the way that you hadn't talked to in a minute. You wave to them and they look right at you, and then they turn around and walk off, and you're like, what the hell did I do to that? God damn, what's up with this son? I guess this asshole's pissed at me. And when they didn't actually see you, because they weren't looking for you, they were looking for somebody else. And then you build up a whole story in your head about, well, I'm telling, when I see him, I'm gonna tell that son about, and all this other crazy stuff that you rehearse for a drama. And that little part of me loves that shit. Boy, it can't wait to get the fork and the knife out and dig into the world is against me drama, or somebody's against me drama. So
kind of makes you work harder.
Starts, yes,
I'm like that too.
Yes. And I try to remember when it happens that it's God, what's this bullshit? I'm full of shit. I ain't listening to that. So,
but it made you work hard to get you where you are now.
Yes, 100%. And there's no way to get rid of them. A friend of mine called them gremlins.
Yeah.
This thing,
mind gremlins.
They don't go away.
Yeah.
They don't go away. If you're a guru in the Himalayan mountains, they're popping. They're popping. Yeah. They're chipping teeth, man, bumping gums at you all the time. So it's just, are you going to listen to them, and believe them? And then if you do it long enough, no, I'll back up. I won't even say you do it long enough. I think we're born feeling like that's us. And the transformation is the old saying, it's sort of like in old Japanese samurai culture, sort of to die before you die, and then you realize there is no.
Yeah. Holy shit, JJ fucking Gray, just
give
us the fucking ego death.
It's only
right there, bud.
noon on a Tuesday, man.
No, but it's true. It's true though. I mean, that's why I'm so fascinated with like athletes, like Michael Jordans of the world, Kobe Bryant. They're building these like fake enemies just so they could get better.
Yeah.
But that kind of pushed them to be further alone in their thoughts. Like you don't see Michael Jordan having friends or Kobe having a best friend.
No.
It's like, fuck, sounds lonely to have that competition always in your head, but then you look at the end game, it's like he's the greatest. You know? It's like this idea of I was wanting to go back to when you're saying the songs. I don't write the songs write themselves. So do you feel like you're just a vessel?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah. I just know the less of me, the better for the songs. The more I'm involved in the process, sitting here by myself, the more I get involved to starting out with stuff like, oh, this is kind of people have done this already and all that. The minute that comes into play, it's like it's over. And no matter what comes out there, it turns into like you got drunk off your ass and woke up the next day like, what the hell was I thinking? You woke up in somebody's house, you're like, what the hell was I thinking? And I feel that way about songs like late at night. I'm really I'm not chasing the rabbit at that point. At that point, I'm just like constructing all this stuff and this is going to be more clever and this is and I haven't used this chord change like this before and I haven't done, and the next day you listen to it, you're like, what the hell was I drunk?
Yeah.
I mean, this is the worst sounding shit I've ever heard in my life. And that night you thought it was awesome.
Should have just wrote a blues.
I try to get out of the process. What's that?
Should have just wrote a blues again. That's what works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, there's
Yeah,
it's a mixture. Like you want to keep on, pushing yourself to be great. You also don't want to break what's not broken. So it's like kind of this idea of like finding yourself and getting better and better. It's like a Dewey Cox and Walk Hard where he starts bringing like the donkeys and the fucking
the Bob Dylan, Bob Dylan
I can
part.
see JJ Gray like in the everybody's like, we need more gator sounds.
Yeah.
Didgeridon'ts.
Yeah.
Or whatever,
Didgeridon'ts.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's like kind of like, I mean, how many records do you have now, bro?
Blackwater, Lot Loose, Country Ghetto, Orange Blossoms, This River, or Georgia Warhorse, Old Glory, and then this one, which was Olusty. So that's is that 8, or did I not put my finger up for one of them? I don't know. I think it's 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And there's a live record.
So how long does it take you to make a record? Are you like an overthinker when the records go, or like it's like your career's been so long, only 8 records sounds kind of
the new one took a while, I noticed.
Yeah.
Yes, it took a little more time. It didn't take more time than the first one. That's my whole life to that point. But,
hell yeah.
So when somebody's like, "Is this the longest?" I'm like, "No, the first one was," because I didn't do it till I was in my it was 30 years in the making. But at any rate, that was 9 years, I think. But I started recording. Funnily enough, I just looked that up yesterday because I was asked, when did I start tracking this record? I started in 2017, and but man, if you added up all the actual time, like working on the songwriting part, arranging part, tracking part, and all that stuff, it could have all been done in 2 or 3 weeks max, or less. It's really, everything was so spread out because I just wasn't interested. I just didn't care. And what I mean when I say I didn't care, I don't mean I didn't care at all. I just like, I got other things to do. I got mowers that are broke. I got tractors that are broke. I got a truck that's broke. I got the gates broke again. The hurricane knocked the gate out for the 15,000th time. I got to replace that. I got to do this. I got to do that. It's always something, man. I come home and I love it. I love doing normal stuff. When I say normal, I mean normal compared to traveling to a different place every single day and playing music for 2 hours each night. There's nothing normal about that.
Yeah.
That's why musicians wound up on drugs, and because talk about circadian rhythm, non-rhythm. That's one of them.
Totally.
Doing that, but at any rate, that's nomadic to another level.
Right.
At least old school nomads, like, okay, let's camp here for a week, 3 days instead of
a season even.
But come home and do that, and then after a while, I'm like, man, I can't wait to go on the road so I don't have to work on stuff anymore, bust my fingers and tear everything up, fixing stuff. So
Can't go back to work. I can't wait to go back to work.
Are you married? Do you have kids? What's your deal?
Yeah, I'm married, and my son, he's born in 88, so he's
36.
30, yeah.
I'm 36 too.
I'm sure your math is better than mine, so 36. And he's he's a freak, man. He's like he's broke 6 world records. He's like the strongest human being pound for pound to ever do a strict curl. He crushed it at the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic this year again.
What?
It's been
Whoa.
Yeah, he's nasty. Now he's gonna go after bench press and he's gonna break that, he said. So
is he huge?
He ain't small. He's big.
It's lean muscle.
But you know what? He can also he just worked me out this morning, and he did box jumps till he threw up. He literally just threw up all over the floor. So he ain't just muscle, dude. He can run he could probably run 8 miles. I mean run. I don't mean jog 8 miles without stopping right now. You could go say, hey, run from here to blah 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 without stopping. He could do it.
Whoa.
So he's like crazy athlete.
When was the first time you realized he could beat your ass?
Well, it started happening when he was probably 14 or 15, because I had a squat rack, a homemade squat rack on my back porch when I lived at the trailer in Maxville. And he bent all my Olympic bars. He bent all of them.
Whoa.
So bench. They're and still using one. I love it. It's bent. It reminds me.
That's awesome.
So
at 14, that's insane.
At 14, like
Sounds
when you
like
ever yell at him and then he'll stand up and you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have yelled at him.
yeah. Well, now I'm like, he could probably bench press about over 3 times his body weight. So he'll pick me up and throw me.
Was he a Navy SEAL or what?
No, he actually makes herbal formulas for people and trains people and trains people like C.T. Fletcher, those kind of cats, man. He rolls with all that crew.
He'll be a bodyguard.
And then my daughter's 15. She's 15.
Whoa.
Damn, 20 years apart?
20 years apart.
What was it, an accident or did you was same girl or what happened?
Yeah, first one. Accident. Wow. Yeah, it was an accident. Yeah, but happy accident. Wonderful.
Yeah.
What are you learning? What are you learning? Yeah.
That all the years I told people I wouldn't put up with this, and I tell my kids, and they wouldn't act like that, and they would, I quickly realized how full of shit I was. But luckily, our kids have been wonderful. They're great, and they're their own people, and she can sing way better than I can. She actually sings background vocals on the song "The Sea" on the new album.
Oh, that's cool.
And she's a double national champ in karate as well. So she can scrap, man. She can spar. So
do not break into his house.
Oh my God. This whole family is I'm gonna really be on my good behavior on this JJ Gray tour.
That's crazy. That's crazy with the age gap.
You ain't got to worry about me. It's them two. But no, they're
crazy with the age gap. It's like raising them in 2 different cultures almost.
That's what I was gonna ask you. What did you learn from raising your first kid of how you raised your second kid? Because you're 20 years of experience since that. You're probably gigging harder then where you're gigging harder now. So you're probably there more for the daughter, or was it the reverse?
No, it's what you just said. Yeah, absolutely. So the first lesson I learned was and I know you've dealt with this. I left home, especially when kids are a certain age, and I left home, and back then I'd be gone 3 months or so. You come back and your kid's 4 inches taller,
right?
And the baby fat's gone. And now you're they look like a different human being. You're that's not happening again. So I took the more expensive route of 2.5 weeks is my max. And that's 2.5 weeks. You can do 3 weekends. And I didn't do that with the start of this new record because I wanted to bring the trailer pack was so brutal on the crew because it's stacked to the ceiling, everything in it, that I wanted to get another trailer out, so which meant another bus, which meant okay, well now I'll bring a couple more people from home out that play with us when we're at home. So I brought a bigger band out. But that was one of the big lessons I learned was don't be gone so long. And space, the greatest gift you can give anybody is space. So so people can conflate that with a lot of things. When I say space, I mean, to listen to them when they're talking, right. In context. I don't want to sound like one of these people that their kids have just as much. What their kids have to say is so important about the geopolitical conditions of the world.
You're
I'm not
15,
listening
dude.
to you because I can't even listen to me because I have no idea what I'm talking about, and neither does anybody else. I'm sure not listening to a 12-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Give me a lecture.
Like, I don't know anything, and I raised you.
Yeah.
I'm you're still being introduced to the whole concept that all this gum bumping, nobody really knows what's what. We're just all making semi-educated guesses. But at any rate, that was the biggest lesson, and to learn to give them space. And obviously, a son is different than a daughter for sure, for father and mother, because both of them impart different things to them, and they need my son would need more of a rite of passage at some point, which he got.
Yeah.
And more of an acceptance, as I accept him now as a man, and he's not just my son; he's a grown man now. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that I had that with my dad, and I think that it's not. Sometimes you're lucky to have that, because not everybody gets that opportunity. So, and I think maybe as humans, for thousands and thousands of years, that's the way it always was. You know what I mean? That's like,
Right.
you're on the construction crew, you go out on a hunting party in the Amazon basin, and and it's like you're 12 years old. I'm finally taking you out with us to go hunt, and now keep your mouth shut and your ears open. And then eventually one day, now you're a man, and now you have a little bit of a right. And I don't mean I necessarily you have to swim crocodile infested waters to prove you're a man. I just mean like at some point you're like, okay,
Teddy Roosevelt style.
you got some tread knocked off those wheels, so now we can get down to brass tacks as man to man instead of father to son all the time. So
Yeah.
anyway, those are just little things that I picked up in between. But and I add all that other because it is different between the daddy daughter connection is more like the mom son connection. It's a little different. So
and you're softened up a hair. You're getting older, and like you're a little more sensitive as you get older. I mean, it's probably a blessing in disguise. You had a daughter. You're a little softy now, JJ. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome.
Yes,
girl dad.
I know we're running out of time. I know we didn't even talk about any music, but this is way better.
Yeah, that's all right. I don't like talking about music anyway. I mean, what can I say?
We're gonna talk about the fucking notes.
What's that thing?
I don't want to. I don't want to know who produced the fucking record. I already know the fucking guy who's making the songs. But that leaves me to. And by the way, I can't wait to tour with you and like actually have like 3 weeks with you, bro. This is gonna be fucking awesome. Yeah, me and Shawn, and Shawn is Todd's best friend. Like in Denver, they play together all the time.
We're all homies with Todd.
We're all homies with Todd.
And I'll say, and not to belittle their relationship. The whole world is Todd's best friend.
That's fair. That's fair. He is the nicest guy on the planet.
Yeah, that's why.
When we pulled over at a rest area in Germany, and somebody knew who he was and was just talking to him. So.
That's why it broke my heart when he had that family situation of how he dealt with it. How did you walk him off the ledge to like kind of get him back into sanity? Because that's a hard thing to do, losing a kid.
Yeah, I try not to give people too much advice about it. I just the most I can do is tell them. I had a family member die when I was on the road once in Chicago, and I flew home, and it was the first time I've known a lot of people to die and a lot of people to actually get killed back in the day. But this was the first time that when you go see them, when the people are in the casket, at the viewing, I think that's another name for it. At any rate, it's the day before the funeral usually. And I went up there and they got them laid out and they got their hands like that, on their heart in the casket. And I put my hands on her hands, and it was just like as inanimate as putting it on a piece of fiberglass. It was just ice cold and not real. And I knew then that nothing is forever. Not even life isn't, but neither is death. So that means that nobody's ever really gone. And I know that everything that ever was and ever will be is all happening at once. And that time is just a figment of our imagination, part of the ego to throw grid lines across something that's only this instant and no other time. And so, I try to say that without being that long-winded, but to anybody that because that's what helps me. I guess it helps me. I don't know. It's just my dad died a couple years ago. It's just sad to see everybody else crying and broke down. But for me, it was, I don't know. I'm not even talking about, well, I'll see him again one day. I don't know how I'll see him or whether I'll see him. I just know he's not gone. And I don't know how to explain that. It's a feeling more than something that I can couch.
Does that philosophy,
but
keep going. But what?
No, that was it. Go ahead.
Does that philosophy help you be less scared of dying yourself?
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
I hear that. So
Peter Pan said it best, dying will be a wonderful adventure.
Yeah. That's a great quote.
It's a great quote. So maybe.
And if a trillion of people before me and animals and stars, if they can do it, I can do it.
Amen. And that's what, that leads me to my last question. It's like, when it's all said and done, what do you want to be remembered by, JJ?
I don't need to be remembered at all. I just hope anything I've ever done helps anybody as much as it's helped me. That's all. I don't, beyond that, it's
what a legend.
I couldn't ask for more than that. You know what I mean? So
well, listen to JJ's new record. Feel his vibes. He's a fucking. I can't wait to have coffee with you. I'm gonna get so yoked out, dude. I'm gonna be doing push-ups with you. I don't know. We'll be get me buff, dude.
3 weeks.
3 weeks is just. I'm gonna have like no neck, dude. It's like going to prison. It's gonna take more than. It's gonna definitely take more than 3 weeks.
Boom.
You can have coffee, and I'll have my buddy calls it hippie coffee, like the yerba mate or something.
Oh,
like
you
that.
drink the yerba mate stuff? Yeah, that's good.
Oh, trust me, it's not health. I'm sure coffee is healthier for you because I drink this shit till my heart almost explodes. I come up with excuses. I think I need to go to the health food store. My eyes starting to. I gotta go get it because it's loaded with caffeine.
Yeah, those things are so
those
good.
Things get me.
I'm a caffeine junkie.
Yeah, that's worse than cocaine for me. I'm like dry heaving. I'm like, what the? It's 11 a.m. I don't want to be thinking about my mother and shit.
Talking about high school stories.
Well,
and shit.
One redeeming quality, I guess, about cocaine is, at least in the interim, just from my friends. So I've never actually done it, but I've never wanted to speed up. But at any rate, is at least you feel guilty later on. If you could drink coffee and take all this other shit till your heart explodes and never feel guilty.
Yeah, exactly.
At least it makes you feel guilty, like I shouldn't do this, and then you do it again.
There's not commercials for cocaine on TV.
Yeah, exactly. There's commercials for extra latte, super caffeinated, fucking yerba mate,
pumpkin spice,
so that's got flavor. Your heart will explode and you'll have anxiety for 4 hours.
It's good for you. It's $5.
Well, JJ, I know you guys.
There was a Coke. Sorry, there was a Coke, a cola when I was a kid. It was called Jolt. Do y'all remember?
Oh
that?
my God!
That.
And Kick.
The advertising slogan was all the sugar and twice the caffeine. So those were the good old days.
It's illegal now.
I know.
Well, they get it in Eastern
rest
Bloc.
in
Yeah,
peace,
yeah,
Jolt.
probably
Yeah. Now they got yerba mate. Or do you suck it out of a metal straw like the real hippies do, or what?
No. I just drink it straight out of the
baby.
can.
Okay,
I love those things.
Yeah, he always drinks those yerba mate.
They got those few
cans.
ones with less sugar now, though.
The yellow can.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I'm so glad. I'm just not
They taste better, I think. Actually.
do gooder enough to myself to abscond from sugar. Maybe one day I'll do it, but I just ain't got there yet.
It's a real problem for me.
Well,
too.
sidebar, Ivory Daniels, get this man a yerba mate sponsor. Stop making him pay for all this fucking yerba. Let's get them.
They sponsor things. They're out there.
They do sponsor.
Yeah.
Let's get them going.
Get
Let's
them
get
on
a
the bus.
sponsorship. Yeah, we'll get you. I'll make sure that'll be my gift. I'm gonna get you a sponsorship for letting.
Yeah, us too, actually.
Yeah.
While you're doing sponsorship.
Dude, y'all will come to the house. My phone will ring and I won't be answering. You'll come here and I'm either vegged out or completely heart exploded and laying over cases.
Dude,
of
we
shit
are
that I
very
just can't stop
similar then.
drinking.
Yeah, we are very similar. We're very high or very low. All right, JJ.
Like I say, Andy did it. Andy did this to me, y'all. Andy
Yeah,
did it.
exactly.
He said I could.
Well, come catch us on tour in January. This podcast is releasing when we announce the tour. So come on out in January. We're going to the West Coast. I'm coming home, baby. Going to LA.
Yes.
I can't
Oh,
wait.
cool.
You haven't been in the West Coast for a while. This is going to be fun.
Been a minute. Yeah, it was November, right whenever everything opened up from COVID. So that's probably 22.
Damn.
California.
My parents
so
are coming.
23.
My parents are coming to LA, so it'll be fun to meet my parents, Jay.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And they're gonna see you be like a songwriter.
Yeah,
like-
this is my first.
He's only playing duo, guys.
I'm only doing duo, so this is gonna be like a really. It's gonna. I've always wanted to do this. Thanks for giving me the shot, JJ. Really appreciate it. It's gonna be.
No worries. Thank you for doing it. It's
Let's
gonna be
fucking
fun.
do it.
I love it.
All right, Jay. Enjoy the time off until you have to go back on the road. Don't piss off your daughter anymore. Just go have your own.
Sounds like she can kick your ass.
Sounds like she can kick your ass as well.
100%.
Well, buddy, good luck out
100%.
there, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks, couple months.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Thanks. Looking
Okay.
forward to it, brother.
Fuck yeah, thanks,
See
Jay.
y'all.
Appreciate
Later.
you.